Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host John, and today, this week we're talking about horror movies that are like below 1 million to make, starting with The Evil Dead, which was made for about 300,000, I believe. Directed by Sam Raimi and starring Bruce Campbell.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That was made under 1 million?
Yeah.
Dude, the amount of like practical effects and even sorry to spoil, but like at the end there's a bit of claymation.
Yeah.
I would have expected it to have like breached 1 million or two. Like making a movie like with just 2 million is already kind of like a big feat.
Yeah.
But it just sounds like they're like, hey, look, all I got is $5 in the lint.
Yeah.
Like, let's make a movie.
Yeah, exactly. And like this launched Sam Raimi's career, obviously launched Bruce Campbell's career, and like it really launched Sam Raimi into the stratosphere in terms of what he can do. Because yeah, I get what you mean by it certainly doesn't feel like this movie is below 1 million. It like Sam Raimi definitely squeezed the blood from the stone for this movie. Like you literally feel like all the effort is put into this movie. Like it's crazy to think that modern movies now spend like Joker spent almost $200 million on its budget, and now it's bombing spectacularly. And like you get something like this is 300,000, and you're like, yeah, it doesn't feel like it, even though it's shot a bit like someone like a project, like almost a college project. You're like, it's not bad. I still like it, the way it looks. It adds to it too.
Yeah, honestly, well, in the 80s, people were very experimental when it came to like camera work.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel like it was a college project because, like, for sure, like now we got like gimbals and like what do you call it, like the tracking thing.
Yeah.
Like we got those, but back in the 80s, they were going crazy with like just like camera work, and my God, Sam Raimi pretty much stapled the whole like floating spirit through the forest kind of deal, which we see it in like Spider-Man and then Doctor Strange, and I love every second of it because I'm like, man, he made us feel that there is a monster like lurking and going at him,
right?
And in my opinion, I don't feel like that was like college student work. Even like the fast pans of like Bruce Campbell's face and him like looking like he's going insane.
Yeah.
Like that shit was just great.
There's a lot of shots here that like later on in his career you're like, yeah, that's a Sam Raimi shot, like the eyes and the faces. And like it really is such a simple premise. Like they find this book of the dead, Necronomicon, made of human flesh, and you're like, oh, that can be good. And like all hell breaks loose. It's not like it's almost like it almost kickstarts right away, and you forget like, how did we get here? How did this start? I just remember the demons, and that's about it.
Dude, yeah, same here. Like when I watched this, I forgot how random and unpredictable the Necronomicon is.
Yeah.
Because sometimes like one of them can be scratched and that's it.
Yeah.
Or one of them is stabbed with like this sacrificial like stick or knife, and then that's how they turn into a deadite. But here it was so just random. Like I couldn't tell how one of them was like, oh nope, that's it. And like sometimes I see Bruce Campbell being scratched, like his skin being torn off by one of the deadites. I was like, isn't that it for you?
Right?
Like, aren't you gonna turn into one now? But again, it's so unpredictable, and it, like, first time watching this back in the day, this made me always like, I don't know who's gonna make it out. I know Bruce Campbell makes it out because I watched
Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness before
the
original Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Way far cry from the original.
I do like the eventual change of tone, but like this is pretty like this is like the dark and gritty stepping stone to like what comes next, which is funny because you like see the shotgun, you see the chainsaw, and you see everything else. You see the deer, and you're like, I know those things. Especially the shotgun and chainsaw, and you're like, oh, okay, let's see what happens in the future, which is like in Evil Dead 2. But for now, you're just like, yeah, you're like a weird like stepbrother who's like dark and gritty and like is like emo too, and you're like, I guess we start somewhere.
I guess, yeah. Like when like your like teenage kid just finally learns a curse word,
Yeah.
you know, it still sounds too innocent.
Yeah.
But anyway, like going to like the entire plot of the movie, as you said, it was very simple. It was just a couple of teens going into like a cabin that they were like, hey, we found this for cheap, so we're like, why not, let's have like a getaway with a couple of friends. Shit starts to hit the fan really quick.
Yeah.
Like with one of them getting fucked up by a tree, literally.
Oh yeah. I was like, that's an age roll, but oh my. Yeah. Like, ugh. And like, there's a lot of things here that like, with gore, like the stabbing and like scratching, you're like, I know it's not today's standards, but it still has it like, I don't want to touch it anymore feel.
In my opinion, I like it. This is tasteful. I'm like, yes, I'm okay with this. You know, like, and yeah, when you remember the scene where he like burns the book, and then all the deadites start melting.
Yeah.
And a little bit of claymation is there. I was just like, I don't mind it. It's gross and it's gory, but I'm like I'm into it.
Compared to what we get today, you're just like, you know what, I can kind of live with that.
Yeah, like a lot of times I'm just like, ugh. But here I'm just like, how'd they do that?
Right?
You know?
Like, it's simple ways like this that really shows the creativity, the creative genius that is Sam Raimi. Like, that moment when they're putting the first possessed into the cellar, and like, first that moment, you're like, that's not a human. That's a puppet, but it's still, the tension's still there. It never breaks. And you're like, okay, cool. And like, even though he does play loosey-goosey with the rules of how he turn, like, at the end, you think the one guy is fine. You're like, I guess he's just dead. But he attacks Ash, and you're like, oh, I guess your turn. How come Ash isn't turned? He's been bitten, stabbed, scratched. I don't understand the rules, but sure.
Yeah, look, I get what he was trying to do. I don't think knowing the fact that this was made with, again, $5 and maybe a toothpick, I'm pretty sure he didn't, like, bank on, oh, this thing will have a sequel.
Yeah.
So, like, he kind of just went willy-nilly with the plot and just, like, filled it in on the second movie.
Yeah. Though when he got the chainsaw, I was like, is this where he gets his arm cut off? And then I was like, oh, wait, no, that's, like, the second movie.
Yeah, same here. I was just like, is this it? I was like, oh, no, not yet.
Yeah.
This is where he cuts up his girlfriend. But
I thought he was gonna go ham with like the other Deadites, but like I'm like, all right, that's for like the sequels, and for like the TV spin-off.
It pretty much like how I will put Evil Dead with the Ash, like kind of storyline, not like with the recent ones where it's like mostly horror. The Ash storyline just becomes Resident Evil. You know, like. The first 2 or 3 or 4 were just like extremely scary, focused on horror survival.
Yeah.
And then once you get to like the further parts, Ash just becomes this like unstoppable force.
Yeah.
Like where he just knows how to destroy these. By the way, watch the show Ash versus the Evil Dead. It's so good. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Nice. It's on Netflix, right? Or did it leave? Oh, okay. But yeah, anything to add before we wrap this up? There's not much to say, but that's not like to insult this movie. It's just a very straightforward movie with a very creative way of how you see the beginnings of Sam Raimi, and like when you binge watch his later movies, you're like, oh, this is the beginnings, and like you see this thread throughout his entire filmology, and you're like, I appreciate that. I like that when a director's consistent like this. Is he consistent? Does he make consistently good movies? Debatable, but like when he hits a home run, it's a home run.
I agree, and I do believe that his first movie got him to third base. It wasn't a home run, but got him to third base. You know.
All right. But yeah, what would you rate The Evil Dead?
I will rate The Evil Dead 7.5 out of 10. I don't like that how that feels. I'll give it an 8. I was like, oh, should I critique it a little bit? And I'm like, I'm gonna give it an 8. That's a good score.
Yeah.
It's a good score for me.
Yeah.
Because it really paved the way with like very unique ways of filming a horror movie.
Yeah.
And for sure, Sam Raimi pioneered a lot of these tropes. And my God, I had so much fun watching this. Like, it's scary enough for it to be like, hey, oh shit.
Yeah.
To have you like a oh shit moment.
Yeah.
But it's also a fun kind of that he puts in like a bit of dark humor.
Yeah.
From here to there. Again, practical effects. I love it when directors use it. Especially you see it like really shine when the budget is really scarce.
Yeah.
And you see it here. And I just have to admire it for that. Everybody performed well, but is not that memorable. And oddly enough, neither is Ash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess again, it's banking on the fact that he didn't know he would have a sequel, so he's just like, oh, whatever. Yeah. I can't settle on a 7. I'll give it an 8. It's a pretty good horror movie. It's nice to see where Sam Raimi began and the beginnings of his careers here, and like what he eventually does later on. Like you can see how much of a chameleon he is, like going from The Evil Dead to like Army of Darkness to even the Spider-Man movies and Doctor Strange. You're like, damn, this guy can do almost anything. And I'm always excited to hear his name pop up in whatever movies he's going to direct. Not gonna lie.
Agreed. Yeah.
Are you agree that the characters are not the most memorable, especially Ash, which is funny considering how much of a star he becomes later on. But again, if you're gonna, if you're thinking that you're gonna do one thing only, I guess it's best to not make us too invested in the character, so that we're not like, I don't know what happens next. But thankfully, we get to see more of Ash and Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi later down the line. But for now, I think this is a very good start to his career and a very good start to this franchise in general. And it's still going strong. Like the latest Evil Dead, I thought was still pretty good.
Oh yeah. Where again, I love the Evil Deads, especially the ones that don't have anything to do with the Ash story. Did we do a review on that one?
Yeah, last year when it came out.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Fucking great movie, by the way. If you want to pair it with any other Evil Dead movies, watch that one. Just a comparison of like the oldest Evil Dead movie to this new one.
Yeah.
It is still good, and I love it. And it's a bit of a bloodbath. A little too much to my liking, but like it's still a good movie.
All right. But yeah, that's been our video on The Evil Dead. We'll probably do the rest of them in the future, but for now, what do you guys think? What's your favorite Sam Raimi movie? Is it the Evil Dead trilogy? Is it the Spider-Man trilogy? Is it Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness? Or Drag Me to Hell? Whatever it is, please comment down below. If you like more of us, please leave a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. Help us get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. Hopefully we can do that. Yeah. Individually, I am Zoe Voices on I was supposed to say Instagram for some reason, that's a lie. On TikTok and Willful Nutterbox. We're gonna find you, good sir. Sorry,
you can find me. Yeah, I was like, where's my cue?
Sorry, man.
But yeah, you can find me at JomJM_ on Instagram. It is my account.
Okay, I forgot to mention we're also on TikTok and Spotify under the same name, of course, for various reasons. So yeah. I don't know why I'm forgetting those. But anyway, until the next video, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.